WF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Anything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out. Bright future we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions. Fan cams bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you all, wherever you are, whenever you are. This is, of course, the Wsl Academy Lowdown. I'm, as ever, joined by Rich. Start of a brand new week, Rich. There's no Palace football to worry about because it's the international break. So the heartbreak of the weekend just gone is over. Thank God. How are you?
And thanks for reminding us.
That's what I'm here to do.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good.
Apologies, I wasn't on for match review yesterday. I have one of those one-day colds. So yeah, but now full on back. But before we start, I do just want to reiterate our point here at Eagle-Eyed Football that post the incident at Selhurst Park, we here at Eagle-Eyed Football abhorrently disagree with any abuse towards fans, players, anyone. It's not what we are. It's not what the football is about. We are a family here at Crystal Palace, and the people who who made these abhorrent comments and gestures towards the certain player, get a life, because honestly, you're pathetic. Right, let's move on to more positive things, shall we? So, literally, as before we just came on, it was reported. This is a bit of breaking news, in case you haven't seen it. Justin Devaney has had an amazing time this over the last few days. Obviously, making his first ever senior start in the Crystal Palace senior team in the game against Fulham at Selhurst Park this past weekend, and because of his brilliant efforts shown both on the training pitch and at Selhurst Park in the this past weekend, he has been called up to the Northern Irish seniors team. So congratulations to him. If anything, if ever we do bring it back and we have a proper graphic, Justin Devaney, baller of the week. There you go. Straight off the bat, give the award. Um, I think it's well deserved, don't you, Rich? I mean, obviously he had a decent showing in an otherwise tough position to play in, and in a tough game as well. Pretty much a sink or swim situation. I would say he swam, wouldn't you? He's muted. He's muted. There we go.
Every time.
Every time.
He did well. He didn't let himself down one bit last weekend. And the fact that he's got an immediate call-up shows that even the national side had seen something, in him. So when you think about the likes of him, Franco Ume gets kind of regular national call-ups, whether it's for the under-21s or the first team for Republic of Ireland. The Palace boys aren't doing too bad. You just got to mirror that on the pitch, obviously. But no, congratulations to him, and I hope the experience does him well. I just hope he doesn't come back injured.
No, definitely not. We don't need more injuries to further a crisis for the senior team. Right, coming up tonight, we will cover the WSL draw against Everton. We've also got a little bit of coverage from a 4-1 loss against Peterborough United in the EFL Trophy, and the under-18s who played in a 2-2 draw in the under-18s Premier League against West Bromwich Albion. Also, because I do believe we missed last week, didn't we?
It was a recorded.
It was a recorded one. Yes, it was. Yes.
Yeah.
Bit of a backtrack for that one. Amolu gets Baller of the Week for last week. Hat trick. Put him in the first team. There's a Palace striker who can score goals. Glasner, Please, please. Right. This 1-1 draw against Everton. As soon as I saw the result, it was a bit. It was a bitter taste for me because we scored, I think, the quickest goal in the WSL so far this season in 29 seconds. India Page Riley with a good strike, and we're flying for pretty much most of the game. Um, it has to be said that Kaminsky and her staff have got this team right where they should be going in the correct direction. And we've said it since the start of the WSL season, that there is the project here. We are on the right pathway towards it being survival or just staying up. I don't want to call it survival because we're not. It's not. It's too early to call a relegation battle. But staying up obviously is the goal. Consistency comes with that as well. A 1-1 draw against Everton, unfortunately, concede in the latter stages of the second half. But a well fought draw, Rich. What did you make of the result?
Um, with regards to the result, I was disappointed,
Hmm. Hmm.
but I was still happy because it's almost now when I look at Palace women, that I think there's certain games we actually should be winning. It sounds mad. This is our first year in the division, but it's testament to how Laura Kaminsky and the coaching staff have got us playing.
Hmm. Hmm.
Really got us good. Like, look, 30 seconds in, and India Pay Riley just obviously slots it home. And then, I mean, obviously, I'm big up to YouTube for covering it because,
Hmm.
you know, um, like sometimes it is difficult for some fans to get there. And obviously, there still needs to be that push for fans to get down to it's Copper's Copper, isn't it?
It's
Not
Sutton,
Copper's Copper. What's that? It's Gander Green Lane, isn't
Gander
it?
Green or the
That's it.
VB or the
Yeah, sorry.
VBS.
It's the VBS. That's what they call it now. Um, and what do you call it? Was messaging that in the comments for it. I was like, we need a second.
Mm.
We need a second. And I mean, as the game was going, I think we're getting lots of drains down the width on the wide areas, but maybe the final ball wasn't great, or it will bobble out towards the edge of the box and we'll have a shot, but the shot's straight at the goalkeeper. And that
Mm.
was kind of like the whole flow of the first half. And to the goal you mentioned, I think that was Everton's first shot on target, which says a lot.
Yeah, Hayashi. With a shot inside the box levels it. And as you said, there were plenty of chances for Palace. This was not a game in which we took our goal and just sat back. I don't think that's Laura Kaminsky's style. We've seen that across her tenure at Palace. We saw it in the Championship. That when there is momentum to have or to be taken, grab it with both hands and run. You make more chances. You try and get as many goals as you can. The WSL is no stranger to high score lines, as we fell victim to earlier this season. But honestly, as I said, it's a bit of pill to take because I really feel like we were due the 3 points here. But a point nonetheless is something to have. Big up Jamie. He says I was there, was disappointing.
True.
I was I was there for the was disappointing for the result in the end. The Palace Laws were chanting for Molly Sharp. I think they wanted her to get her chance. Um,
Actually, hear that. Actually, yeah. Whilst I was watching it, I did hear the
mhm.
money shot chance.
Three changes, obviously, from the previous game. Um, also,
What do you
I
make?
I do believe we had a return for a certain skipper. Amy Everett makes her grand
Yeah,
return finally,
she was
and it
brilliant.
and it was absolutely wonderful to see her. Devastating to lose her um, before the start of the season. Now she is back, and hopefully that gives us even more stability with her excellent leadership skills. But I think heading into what will be difficult game against Aston Villa for, well, actually both the men's and the women's teams now. I've just realised we're both sides are playing Aston Villa next. Um, I think morale is high. I don't think heads have dropped one single bit. So yeah, this is going good for us when it comes to the WSL. And as always,
Yeah.
as Rich said, all the games, or at least most of the games, are being made available on YouTube. If not on Sky as well, if you have it as well. But yeah, a point shared. I don't want to view it as 2 points dropped. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at it as it's a point gained. Unfortunately, missing out on 2 extra points there for the 3 points.
You know what? When did Sitters 2 dropped? And I think that's just a testament to how we are playing, you know?
Hmm.
But I even look at the fact that after the Everton equaliser, I think we struggled. There's a 5-10 minute period that they were like on top. I was thinking, oh no, this could go bad. And then we kind of took ownership again.
Hmm.
If memory serves, I think it was Hopcroft that had a shot inside the box that got saved. You
Yeah,
know, like we were creating somewhat half chances, you know. And look, we were on 5 points now. I remember with the WSL, I think the target is 12, you know, so we're already a third of the way there, you know, just
yeah.
over a third of the way there. And if we can, let's see, if we can get another 4 points from the next two, which are West Ham and Villa, we're looking in good stead,
Hmm.
you know.
It's a good point that you mention those next two games, considering we faced Everton, who are bottom of the WSL. Next game is against Aston Villa, who are directly below us, who are also on 3 points as well as Everton. And then obviously West Ham, who are above us only by the grace of a 6 goal swing on the difference. So yeah, these games are critical as well. We've also got Leicester, who are on the same points as West Ham and Palace, respectively, as well. They've only got a better goal difference thanks to their performances as well. But again, we did get the better of them. So what's to say that we can't get points here? Jamie has a question for us. What's your thoughts on Stengel, guys? Do you think she's lost as a lone striker? She finds her too deep at times. I have seen this. I feel like we aren't really supplying this enough, or rather, she requires someone to be right behind her, playing in the 10, perhaps. What do you think?
I think Blanchard not playing didn't help, you know. But I think where was Blanche actually? I didn't recognize. I didn't see her at all. Unless I'm missing a trick, but she's the glue, you know, and that allows Stengel to stay further forward. And I think also who's he got a good relationship with? Woodham. She's
Mm,
got a good relationship with Woodham. So I felt like, especially with yesterday's game, I felt she had to drop deep to link up play. Then had to then be the one that runs with the ball, drives forward, kind of just doing a bit too much.
mm,
I think we've got to find a way of getting Ashley Veerden higher up the field because
mm-hmm,
I feel she always seems to pick up the ball inside her own half and then she's trying to dribble from there. So I think it might just be a case where like Lexi Potter and Mike Cato, can we move the ball quicker,
mm.
you
Well,
know? And obviously, Mike Cato doesn't really necessarily play in the 10, I think, but she had to play that role
mm,
yesterday. But I've been happy with Stengel. Her hold up play is incredible.
yeah.
Um, I think if she gets into the right spot, she'll score more goals. And correct me if I'm wrong, we only have her till January. Is it
I
Stengel? That's the one that's on loan from. I
I
think it's
can't
Stengel that's on loan.
recall. I know well, I think it's no secret. My favorite Palace women's player, Annabelle Blanchard, she wasn't actually playing yesterday. She wasn't
Yeah,
involved in.
I thought as much.
She wasn't on the bench or in the
And I
lineup.
think, yeah,
Uh,
and don't get me wrong, Everton were missing a load of players too.
yes, yeah.
You
So it was
know,
Hopcroft and Virden. who were also who were playing in predominantly what is Blanchard's left flanking position. Um, so yeah, it's it's going good. I mean, obviously, the next few games, as I said, for the women's, obviously we're away at Villa Park against Aston Villa, and then we are at home to London rivals Charlton Athletic in the League Cup. And Charlton always. I've gone to two Charlton games when it comes to the Palace women, and we've lost both of them. So this time I'm not going. Hopefully the curse is lifted if I don't go to that game, because Charlton, I've gone taken my mum to the first time. We got ran off the pitch, and then the second time I took my dad, and we lost that one as well. So maybe it's just my parents. Maybe I just don't take them to Palace games no more. Right. That's the WSL. Rich, talk me through this unfortunate 4-1 loss to Peterborough United in the EFL Trophy with the under-21s.
You know what's mad about that?
Mm,
I think we could have scored more goals, and the goals we conceded were avoidable as well.
hmm
They were avoidable goals. Um, Fun fact: Abraham Odo, who scored twice,
hmm
I used to coach him.
Oh,
Fun fact. Um,
small world.
Small world, indeed. So obviously, I did drop him a little message like, why are you doing my boys like that? But what do you call it? I just like it's Marsh, Hindelo, and Umolo.
hmm
Those are the three that right now are looking like, yo, we want to stake a claim to go further. Obviously, Derry sometimes gets minutes for the 21s now as well because he's gone up.
hmm
Um, but those three are flying. And Umolo himself had 3 or 4 chances in this game, which he didn't take.
Mm,
You know, the goal that we did score came from Mustafa. He literally sold a dummy, and then played it in behind for Marsh, and Marsh was able to tuck it home. But yeah, like I said, if you saw Peterborough's second goal, it was a shocker.
oh,
Because we played it forward into a box, and we've got it covered. So we're in possession of it, and then our defenders knocked it into the striker, and it loops over. It's Corredera. You
hmm
know, it was madness, absolute mess. But hey, look, they showed me in that game. And granted, I don't know if Peterborough made changes. I don't know if that was his full set squad, but they showed me that they can compete.
hmm
I don't think they can qualify. I think it's going to be very difficult for them to qualify, but they're not they're not shaming themselves. Let's say that.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about the under-21s is that, you learn from any result. It's any result is going to further their experience, further their knowledge. Certainly, this brings me on to my question for you, Rich. As you mentioned, Mustafa, Marsh, Amolu, certainly other names in there as well. Is it time that some of these players actually are tapped up by Glasner to follow the example of Justin Devaney, train with the first team, potentially with a look in to be involved, albeit maybe from the bench, but hey, to be involved with the senior team is still something. Um, if you could choose maybe up to three of these players, maybe even the three that you actually mentioned, would you actually include them in the senior squad?
I think it gets difficult when all our players are fit.
hmm
You know, but if I was to go from three that are current like academy players, but submit, I would say Agbenon is one.
hmm
I'll say Devaney. I've seen more than enough now with Devaney to
Yeah.
say that he will be number 2. You know what? Kenny Kapora is not in my top three, but what I saw of him
Mhm.
was enough to say, yeah, he's good enough. The third one I would say is Hindle Mustafa.
Mhm. Yeah, that was pretty
That'd be my
much
third.
pretty much what I would say. Staying with the under 21s, obviously now that it is the international break, we do. Let me find my notes. It is here somewhere. Bear with me. Yes, we do have some international news as well. This dates back about 3 days back that Sean Grehan has been called up to represent the under 21s Republic of Ireland team in the UEFA European under 21 Championship qualifiers. Try say that
Nice.
backwards. And it will also include Jesse Derry has been called up for England for the same qualifying campaign as they're off to Bulgaria. Killian Phillips and Teo Adaramola um, are not available, and Franco Ume is missing out due to injury. Big up Spiritual, he says he would call up Asher Hindolo and Dylan Reed. Good shouts. These are all good shouts, and I think, especially considering the situation we find ourselves in, we're going to have to kind of rely on these youngsters, which is, it's a shame that it's taken us suspensions and injuries to bring them in, and we're having to pretty much say save us. But in an ideal world, this is also a chance for them to be like, okay, yeah, I'll do this. I'll do this better than these lot. So before we go on to Loan Watch, we had a 2-2 draw against West Bromwich Albion. I nearly butchered that name. I hate saying this. I hate saying their name. West Brom. I'm just going to call them West Brom as I always have done. 2-2 draw in the under 18s Premier League. And
What is going on with my life? It's like a rave.
right,
Hold on.
right. Well, that's
Ah, don't tell me this is my shop. No.
22 minutes in.
Hold on. Yeah, I think this might actually be knackered.
All them fan cams. In the meantime, whilst Spiritual says Asher is ready for the championship. We'll move on to Loan Watch. Now, obviously, actually, it gives me a chance to plug what's coming up on Thursday night. We have a dedicated Loan Watch stream where JC and potentially yourself, Rich, and maybe even Dan and Nate um, will talk more about our loanees. I'm not going to be available that on Thursday night. You're having to really hold that up just so you can get lighting.
It's mad, isn't it?
Oh dear, this is
Mm.
I love Monday streams. Always fun. Right. Palace 2, West Brom 2, Ben Casey and Jerome Osei scoring our goals. Charlie Blackshields and, well, someone by the name of Trialist. This is
You
just
know what's
going off
mad?
of, don't tell me you trained this
Two-
Trialist.
No. The two
Oh,
goals we conceded were very avoidable.
yes, they were. Yeah.
We gave the ball away both times.
Yeah.
First one was what's the keeper's name again?
Their
Doesn't bug
keepers or
me.
our
Okay,
keepers?
our keeper.
Oh, our keeper. It was Jack
Give me a
Mason.
second. Who? Mason. That's it. Yeah, he gave the ball away.
Oof. Oof. Um, well, it's certainly a decent show that the goals are still flying
My
in.
spirit was so down. It's so brilliant. I make a note of that, Nicky, please. 24-40.
Will do. Ah,
I respect that.
Well done, spiritual. Well done. Well done. Yeah. So at least the goals are flying in for the under 18s, but also we need to do better in defending and certainly just not conceding. That would be great. Um,
You're going to keep
Jesse,
working this. I'm actually going to try and change the light bulb and see if that does anything, because this is taking the liberties. I'll be back in a second. Nope. I don't want to make me full
he's
speed.
he's having a mare. Oh my word, he's having a mare. Right. Yeah, so the 2-2 draw. Now I wasn't able to watch the highlights because um Palace for some reason don't let me watch the highlights anymore. So they're just being pagans. Um but yeah, let me bring up my notes. So, two changes from the side that faced Arsenal. We do have a goal that is ruled off for offside, um, and that was through Casey. He then scores like 3 minutes later to actually score. And then obviously West Brom take the lead through two goals. Their trialist leveling it out in the 35th minute, and then just before half time, Blackshield just scores an absolute stunning goal. It has to be said. We give credit where credit is due. And it is 2-1 into half time. But instantly, from the get-go in the second half, we level it out, and then we take control of this entire game, and we just can't put the finishing product in. And unfortunately, it ends as a 2-2 draw. And unlike the WSL game, I will see this as 2 points dropped because I feel like this was a game that should have been a win for us, but that's life. That is indeed life. Um, yeah, Jesse Derry. I want to focus on Jesse Derry. Um, Obviously, we all know how good he is. We see him constantly involved on Palace socials, on YouTube. He's constantly getting nominated for Player of the Month awards. Um, with the name, obviously, it carries a lot of weight here with Palace. I dare say, probably ready to step it up and maybe make this a permanent thing to play for the under 21s. But fortunately, there is the route. Certainly with the youth development, I think it can be said that we've probably got one of the best in this area of the country, at least in the southern part of the country. I certainly say we are looking pretty decent. What does this do for the under 18s Premier League table? Well, we are sitting 10th. We are sitting 10th, above Leicester City, Reading, and West Brom, respectively. So a point, 2 points dropped against the side that are at the bottom of the under 18s Premier League table. Um, as an update for the under 21s league, well, it's looking a bit better for us. In the under 21s, we are sitting 7th place on 14 points. Above us are West Ham, Arsenal, Liverpool, Fulham, a club that I won't mention. I'm not going to mention them. I don't mention their name, and Manchester City, who are sitting up top. Spiritual agrees. Jesse, what a player! If we weren't in a situation that we're in, I would have said that this would have been the perfect time to maybe bring him up, get him in training with the first team as well, but not certainly involve him in the match day squads. Rich is back and looking a lot brighter aspects on the horizon for Rich. Um, that pretty much just brings me on to Loan Watch, to be honest. And guess what, Rich?
Go
Odson
on.
Eduard played. I can't believe it.
When did
We're
he
going to
play?
start.
Well, that's 5 minutes.
He, he played the final few moments of Leicester City losing to Manchester United, replacing the Ghanaian that we shouldn't have sold, Jordan Ayew. Honestly, whoever made that decision, have a word with yourself, because why?
I don't
Killian
think the issue
Phillips,
was of us selling Ayew. I think the issue
yeah.
was that we replaced him with Sarr, but Sarr shouldn't be starting, and he is,
Mm. Well,
because we didn't replace Michael Olise.
we all spoke about this on last night's stream, so go ahead, go watch that back. With some rather key points and rather good questions from the panel. Killian Phillips started St Mirren's victory at Easter Road with a victory over Hibernian, helping them move into the top 6, within 4 points of Rangers in third. And good timing. Killian Phillips is good. You know why? You know why is he so underrated? I think it's because he is getting higher and higher and higher on that age. He's what, 21, 22, and around about that kind of age, you are expecting someone to be involved in the first team. I think we're seeing a
Yeah, we're
hindrance.
just gonna make a profit on him. That's the plan with him.
Yeah,
But David Ozo will be next in line in that midfield.
hmm completely agree. Um, Roshan Maturin, I've definitely butchered his name for like the thousandth time. He came on in near on the 70th minute as Hartlepool United fell to a 5-3 defeat against York City. So at least there is minutes there. Jack Wells Morrison was singled out for praise by the Wealdstone manager Matt Taylor after coming into the side and helping them to a 2-0 win. Taylor said, quote, Jack was excellent again. He covered some ground, but what he also did was the other side of the game exceptionally well. You can see his quality. I've always said that Wells Morrison certainly has the qualities necessary to lead a squad. Maybe not in the future in a red and blue shirt, because I think obviously he's getting up there higher in age as well. So if this is a chance for him to maybe make a statement of playing in the National League, maybe even I don't want him to see as low as the National League South or North, but certainly in that area, I think he'll find a key place. Owen Goodman, unfortunately, slipped to a narrow defeat against Grimsby Town. But still, let's highlight the positive aspect here that in 12 appearances for AFC Wimbledon, Goodman has kept a clean sheet in exactly half of those games. So that's looking good. Let's move on to the other great goalkeeper that we have out on loan, Joe Whitworth. He claimed yet another clean sheet as Exeter beat Charlton Athletic. Yes, yes.
You could tell by the celebrations as well. Like
Oh
he was
yes,
happy.
he was happy about that. He's a Palace boy through and through. 8 clean sheets already so far this season. Also, he was up for. I think he was also Exeter's Player of the Month, but I think he was up for League One Player of the Month. I think. You have to correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong on that one, but I feel like I did see something there
I'm
that,
sure he's been up for some sort of
or he was
award.
like Save of the Month or something. He got his due rewards as he continues a super season over at Exeter. Teo Daramola is back playing. He played a part in a 5-0 win for Stockport County over Bolton Wanderers. He came on in the final half an hour and helped them secure that great win. An unused sub. Yet again, there is a certain person who's going to not enjoy this. Malcolm Abiaway did not play as Oxford lost to Watford on Friday night. um, David Ozo still out as he is on loan at Derby County, but he is continuing his progress towards full fitness. And then we move on to the one player I have said shouldn't have been loaned out and needs to get recalled in January. Jezerin Raksaki. Recall him now, practically. Just bring him back now, please, for the love of God. Right. a Steel City derby in which that this is probably the biggest derby, one of the biggest derbies in the northern parts of the country. It has history. Um, Chris Wilder certainly believes in him, and with 13 appearances now of the season, Sheffield look like they're probably going to try and come back into the Premier League at the first time of asking, and it's an amazing experience to be in the Championship and to be scoring goals on a regular basis, to be assisting as well, to be in part of these games. Rich, we need to recall him. Do you agree?
I do. I do agree. And not only do we need to recall it, we also need to buy another senior left side. We need competition for places regardless,
Hmm.
And what we could effectively do now is, I know we've got Nketiah and Sarr, but then we could have Nketiah, Sarr, and Mateta fight for free striker positions.
Mm.
Or we can have Sarr, Jez, and then who's left-footed winger. On the left-hand side, Francois, Eze, and Kamada, it could be. We've got to have competition in all places because, look, I know it's going to upset people that they may not be getting many minutes and stuff, but look, every single year we have an injury crisis.
Hmm.
Every year,
Yep.
you know. Um, so yeah, and I agree with Spiritual. Like, Riggs isn't the signing we need, because we have Jez. What we should do is get an experienced one. I mentioned this yesterday, someone like a Marcus Edwards who's not getting any minutes
Hmm.
at
Yep.
Sporting. Have him and Jez as those two left-footed, right-sided players,
Hmm.
and have that from January.
Yeah. Yep. I completely agree with you. As soon as you said that on Sunday, I was completely agreeing with you. I was there in the comments saying we need to get Edwards in. Um, Mitch
Yeah, I think Edwards and Jez will be wicked on the left-hand
Mitch
side.
jokingly says championship experience might be useful for us next season.
That's the point.
Big up real says Jez would apply. Jez would apply desperate. Should recall him as we should know by December if we can get a 10 in January. Spiritual also saying he also wants a left wing back because Mitchell is shocking.
Fingers crossed, Archie Brown. I mean,
I've said
rather,
I've said for ages we need competition for Mitchell. It's been needed for
yeah.
ages, man. Which is obviously Glasner saw something that obviously we didn't. That's why I was like really happy that we saw Ryan Sessegnon training with us um, before the season started because that would have been one a left-sided wing back who can play, and two he can also play anywhere along the left-hand side flank. He can play left winger as well. He's quite versatile. But obviously shoulda, coulda, woulda. Well. Um, Yes, I think that's pretty much it for everything there. Rich, do you agree?
See, I did forget to mention with regards to the women, Cheyenne has made an incredible save at 1-1, by the way.
Yes.
I
Yes,
did
she
forget to
did.
mention that.
Yes, she did.
So,
Great signing, Yanes. Great signing. Right. Before we wrap up, lots coming out this week. It's might be international break, but the work don't stop here at Eagle Eye Football. Coming up on Wednesday, we have an international version of
yeah,
Tact Eagle. Sorry,
yeah.
oh, is it tomorrow? I don't. I don't know my days. Tomorrow you can join JC and Dan for an international Tact Eagle. They'll be answering your questions, deploying tactics as well. So go ahead, go watch them because it's practically whenever the JC and Dan do Tact Eagle, it's exactly the same tactics that you see played out on the pitch, especially when it comes to the opposition. So Glasner should start watching the channel. You know, maybe you give us a cheeky like and subscribe. Because considering JC and Dan have pretty much all the answers. Um, Also on Thursday, correct me if I'm wrong. Thursday, right? I
Mhm.
know my days of the week now. I know where I am. Um, we have, as I said, a dedicated loan watch stream where we go into more detail about each and every single player who was out on loan. Um, sending you questions again for that, guys, because certainly the question will be who gets recalled, who should stay out, who should be brought back, and then on Sunday, something I've been looking forward to since that day, we will be releasing the footage of our annual kickabout, which was held at Power League with some familiar faces and some well-known content creators as well. So and you'll certainly see a moment of which that will live forever in the memory of Nathan and myself. And I'm so looking forward to it. Anything else to add there, Rich? Or are we all done?
We're all done.
All done. Just over 40 minutes. But anyway, guys, keep it locked into the channel, like, share, and subscribe. And as always, up the palace. Eagles!
Who knows? Yeah, so well, it's not done because it still says it's running.
I clicked end stream. It's happened
It
to
still
me.
says in stream on my end. Hold
Should
on,
we
let me
try
have a
that
look.
again?